The views and opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey guys, this is Heri Joensen from Tyr, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a privilege to have Mr. Heri Joensen, guitar and vocals of the band Tyr. I hope I pronounced that right. Tyr will release their 8th full-length album via Metal Blade Records on March 8th. Tyr is no stranger to the music world, creating folk metal for over 2 decades. Right there stands a feat of its own, folks, to be around for 2 decades, the way the music world is today. So, Heri, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Sounds like you have some deep insight to the music business.
Yeah, you know what, man?
You're playing in a band yourself?
No, I don't play in a band myself, but
you'll be glad for that.
It's just amazing on how the music world has gotten for bands to put music out, and now they have to keep continuing on touring.
Yeah. With the advent of the social media and the internet, there's just less money in it, and the labels have moved, their position to make some real money, and there's less in it for the musicians, and it just takes harder work now, more touring, and merch. I mean, one of the really basic things about the music industry today for bands is you cannot download a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And you cannot copy paste it, and that saves us the bands a little.
Sure. How's it been working with Metal Blade Records so far?
It's been working well. They're a very good label, as labels go in this business. We've had some issues with some labels before, but none with Metal Blade so far.
There's a 6-year gap between, and I hope I pronounce this right, again, forgive me, Valkyrie and Hell. It's by far the longest between any two of your records of the band's history. I know the band tours a lot, but did you guys just want to take a break and recharge before working on anything else?
Well, we have been working on the album since before the last album. Some of the songs are leftovers from the last album. And we were caught in sort of a very hectic routine, touring, making an album, and just got to be too much for me. And I said we have to change this method. So we decided to record as much as possible, on our own in our own home studios, and so we ended up recording everything at home except for the drums, and that took a lot of time, building up the technical expertise to do it. But we also took the time that we thought we needed to work on the songs until we were satisfied with them. And that, just accounts for a large part of the wait.
There's more instrumental music than on 2013's release, Valkyrie, on this album. Is that something you guys wanted to bring back and incorporate into your albums?
Not necessarily. That's just the way songs turn out. I mean, Terje and Gunnar wrote a large share of this album, and they make more riff-based music than I do. So it's just, especially the songs from Gunnar, Fire and Flame. It's a very long instrumental passage in the middle, and it comes from their input, I guess. Gunnar's especially.
And speaking of that, Gunnar and Tahiri, they did more songwriting contributions on this album. Does that help out the band a whole lot more on this album, you think?
It definitely makes it more diverse. Like, there are more influences in the songwriting, and I think overall it's a good effect on the whole album. Yes.
Any songs off the album standing out more to you on it right now, if possible? I mean, I know these must change every time you listen to it, but are they more sticking out to you?
That's really hard to say. I was very, very pleased with Ragnar's Cry and how it turned out. I think it's the third one. And, Fire and Flame also, Gunnar's songs, that was released as a single already. That is, it's quite funny to play. It's going to be very entertaining, I think. I hope for us to play and for people to hear live. Those are probably my favorites.
Was it hard to pick that for a single with the group of songs that you have right now? Because, I mean, I know that kind of had to be a little hard.
Yeah, it is. And it's very hard as a musician to judge your own works so close to having worked on it for 6 years. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I asked a lot of people that, friends and family who have not heard these songs before, what they thought were the best songs. And the results turned out quite different than we would have expected, but that's how we chose the top 3 songs for videos.
Now, you said some of these songs are songs that didn't make the previous albums. What do you look for in those songs that didn't make those albums to be on this one? What was it for those to say, okay, yeah, let's choose these?
Well, we have enough material to choose from, so it was just a case of, like, we have enough songs for this album already, let's skip these for the next album. Okay. So it's not like there's anything in the songs that wouldn't fit. It's more a case of, there's a limited amount of music you can fit on one album. And that's why they got thrown into the next album's folder. That's really the only reason.
Who produced this album?
We've produced all our own albums. Okay. So it's recorded. Drums are recorded, and the whole thing is mixed and mastered by Jacob Hansen, but there's no production work that he does. Gunnar and I did all of the production work on this one.
So do you like having that control of doing your own music and recording it and whatever you want to? Do you like that role?
I love it. I love it. I'm a control freak of sorts, and I want things to be done properly and harmonized and executed properly and it's a cursing and a blessing, but I must admit I really like having that control. Yes.
Tadeusz Reckman has been playing drums on your tours live since 2016. What's he brought to the band now, being officially named the drummer of the band now? What's he brought? What's he brought that might have been missing? He's
a very technical drummer, and he has a very honest and heartfelt groove when he wants to. So he's the right combination of a really old school heavy drummer and a very technical modern drummer, and it's very obvious when you see him play that he truly loves the metal music, and he's definitely the right guy for us.
What do you hope everyone takes away from the album, or message you hope they hear while listening to it, or just any Taylor's music in general?
Well, there are different messages on different albums. This is a very dark album, and I hope the music, people find the music uplifting in a way, and I hope the lyrics maybe inspire some people who feel they're in a hopeless situation, and that's it.
Would you say this is a more darker album that you guys have produced in a while?
This is probably our darkest album so far.
How much growth musically have you seen this band and plus yourself go through up to the release of this album, or has it just been more of a personal growth for each of you all involved in this?
Well, musically, definitely we've evolved greatly, and also with taking control of the recording process. I mean, you see a lot of things much more clearly than you did before, and you get some working methods that just you can see how everything works, and you learn something, and then I have the feeling, at least, we did it a lot better this time because we had control of the recording process also, and as songwriters, I mean, we never worked so closely on the production as we did this time, Gunnar and I especially, and we really learned something, about each other and about working together, and we have something that works very well, I think. And as a lyricist, finally I took the time to write lyrics and not just rush them down in the last minute as I've done for the last 3 or 4 albums. So especially compared to the last album, I really took time to dig into some real darkness and write about it. And I think at least, it turned out as well as it possibly could have for us at this stage. And I hope people agree that we've taken it, one step further, one level up.
When you're coming into the recording studio, do you do anything differently during the writing and recording process to maybe help keep your mind fresh and open, to not get bored or not to let the music get stale? Do you do anything differently, maybe?
I think writing-wise, I just do the same thing as I've always done. I really, really deeply love the process of writing music, and I don't get bored as such. Every few hours, you feel like you've done enough. Now take a break, do something else, and come back to it. And it's equally uplifting each time to come back to it. It's one of the things that adds deep meaning and a sense of fulfillment to my life, and I can't imagine ever getting bored with that, honestly.
I've always said, man, music is the it's this perfect drug for folks. It's universal language for folks. It just is.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of the things that affects your emotions most directly.
Yeah,
that is not a drug.
I've always said, man, if music can't put the goosebumps on you or the hair stands up on your arm, or the back of your neck, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, precisely.
What can fans expect at a show from Tyr? And I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but what can they expect at a show from you all?
English-speaking people usually say Tyr, and that's fine with us. We don't expect you to learn Faroese at all. We try to put on the best show we can, and we try to, be entertaining and to reach, as you say, across the stage to the audience and get them sort of involved in the show. And we try to, we go to great lengths to make sure that it's technically, acceptable at an acceptable level. And we also put a great thought into the set lists, which songs we play, when and where. And we usually get good reactions for our shows. And I hope people will expect and will be entertained by our show and walk away a bit richer, if I can put it that way.
That was going to be my next question. I mean, you guys have a huge library of songs. I mean, it's got to be kind of complicated to put a set list together. But is there a song that you guys have not done live that you would like to do eventually?
There might be. There's so many songs we have done like once or twice, decades ago or a decade and more ago. Precisely one that we never play that I'd like to play, I'm not sure I can think of one. Yeah. The title track on Land, for example, is a 16-minute song. That could be interesting. I'd like to do that, but maybe at one of our 2 or 3 hours headliner shows we could make that. It's sort of a waste of time when you have like a 1 hour set to waste more than a quarter of it on one song.
Now we're living in the digital era of recording albums to get music out quicker, and plus now we have social media to reach out to more folks who may have not got to hear Tyr as of yet. Do you like this that we're living in now, to get music out quicker, and plus social media to reach out to more folks, plus being around for almost 2 decades? This is a game changer for you guys. Has to be. Yeah,
we sort of started, before the whole social media really took off, and for music at least. So we got like the very end of the pre-digital music business, and as soon as there was the internet, available to musicians, I started using it immediately, and I think. As for the music business, it's done mostly good. Now it cuts away, the income, because you can sell MP3s now instead of CDs, and there's much less income in it. But now the streaming and download is taking over, and the streaming is now probably by far the biggest income for any musician. And overall, it's a good thing. It opens up the world to everybody, but it also means you have much more competition and less income from it, possibly, at least for selling your music. So overall, it's good, I think.
I know a lot of my friends, they talk to me, they're like, hey, I bought this MP3 off this album, or just not this album, I mean just in general. And I'm going, well, why don't you just buy the whole album? Take that chance like you used to when you saw the album art in a store. on a CD. That's what got my attention. I bought many albums that way. You know what I'm saying? It's like just buy the whole damn thing. I mean,
Exactly. But those days are not coming back. I definitely remember, you bought a whole album and that was it, and you enjoyed the artwork on the cover while you listened to it, and I found it a strange thing to listen to one song. I would always listen to an entire album, but it's sort of gone away from being focused on the album to being focused on the track, and right now, it's about getting one hit on YouTube, and it's not really about promoting your album, more about promoting individual songs and getting one hit. I prefer the old way, and I usually, to this day, on iTunes, I listen to whole albums if I have the time, and but those days, I don't think those days are coming back.
I remember buying Dangerous Toys album because of the cover art. And, that was some good shit. It still is to this day.
Yeah. I bought some albums also because of the cover. The Iron Maiden's Live to Death.
Speaking of artwork, who did the cover for this? Who did the artwork for you guys on this album?
We have a guy in Hungary, in Budapest. Same guy who's done our last 4 or 5 covers, I think. His name is Skula Havangsak. And he has a company called Jules Illustrations and Design. And he does a lot of bands nowadays. He does Gravedigger, Accept, Annihilator. And we've used him for many years. He's a great artist. And believe it or not, his day job is digging graves. He's a grave digger. So it's very fitting.
Yeah, I always want to give out a shout out to the artists, because I don't think they get enough credit for the album creations that they do, because you got to work with those guys, because you got to collaborate with each other on what you're looking for.
Well, he's quite good, so we sort of just gave him, the idea we had for the album and the concept, and he worked from that and sent us his initial idea, and we said, that looks great, knock yourself out, and he did. So we didn't have many comments about this. This is mostly his own creation.
In your own opinion, what does Taylor bring to the table for music that's not out there, if anything else possibly?
I think one thing that I do in the songwriting that I hear very few bands do is I have a very classical and traditional approach to harmonizing the music, and that gives us a very specific sound that almost no other band has. And I hear over and over again that people recognize our sound immediately, and I think it comes from that, the classical arrangement approach, and second to that also, the traditional melodies, Nordic melodies. I think that's also something that makes it recognizable. And there are a few more bands that do that, but not that many.
What made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, that's what I want to do right there?
I heard some music when I was younger that really had a profound, deep impact on me. Some things that, how can I put it, sort of blew me into space mentally, and some moments that never go away from me again. How profoundly music can affect you and take you out of your miserable everyday life and make you feel like part of your soul is part of something bigger and something immortal. And that feeling, that epic feeling of music is what attracted me to songwriting to begin with, and heavy metal just sort of came second, and then I started to play guitar and write music, and it was really the love for the effect music has on people and on me to begin with, and then on other people, and then I started studying music, and I fell deeply in love with music theory, and that was my route into the whole thing.
I know you've been doing this for over 2 decades, but is there a country that stands out or even shocks you that Taylor gets support from, where your music even gets played in that country? Is there one that sticks out possibly?
I'm always surprised about South America and Central America even. I think the country that we get most requests to come and play from is Mexico City specifically. If I had a cent for everyone everybody from Mexico City who asked me to come play there, I'd be a rich man. That has surprised me, but it's some time ago since that started, so it doesn't surprise me anymore. Nowadays, we played in Kazakhstan only a month or two ago, and I was very surprised we got that chance. So, apart from that, not a country that I can think of at the moment, no.
I know you mentioned just a minute ago the reasons why you got into music, and I'm sure you guys get this, but what's it mean to you when you receive an email from a fan, or prior to the shows or even after the shows, they say your music has pulled them through a bad experience, or it's gave them the inspiration to overcome obstacles, or it's just made them to get away and relax of the everyday bullshit that we go through?
Yeah, that's one of the most uplifting things I can hear. I know what they mean because I had the same relationship to other music when I was younger and even today, and I know exactly what they mean, and it's just mind-boggling that my music can have the same impact on other people. It's something that I have a very hard time internalizing, and but I'm very, very happy they say that. I got messages and personal and people telling me to my face about all this, and it's equally important to me every time, and I'm very, very glad I got to have a positive impact on other people's lives, and I know firsthand how important music can be. So that's not something I set out to do, but it's an incredible bonus once you get there.
Folks, Heri will release their 8th full-length album via Metal Blade Records March 8th. You want to get out and pick this up, plus get out and pick up their previous stuff as well. Heri, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy some merchandise, tour dates. How can you do that, my friend?
Well, it's all on our Facebook page mostly. We keep that ourselves, and I try to answer everyone who asks us a question or has a comment. And also on Instagram and Twitter, and it's all run by the band, me mostly. And get our albums at Metal Blade Records and Napalm Records, and we will be starting up a merch store very soon in the US. We don't have an official merch store at the moment, but we're working on it, and it'll be run out of the US.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Absolutely, no problem. Hey guys, this is Heri Joensen from Twitter, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, plus our YouTube link. And here shortly, we'll have a Twitch link as well. Also, get out and check out Heri. And I apologize for screwing the name up and all these names in this interview. But
no worries, man.
Get out and check them out, folks. Give them a chance. I guarantee you'll like them. Best of luck to you guys in 2019, man, and keep kicking ass.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for doing the interview. And see you around, I hope.